What's going on, guys? This is Joe Young coming at you with another video for the week. So this week, per request, I want to give you guys an update on my zebra pleco tank. Of course, we also have the leopard frog plecos in here as well temporarily until we actually move and separate these guys. Alright, so a lot of them are hiding in the back here. In the front is kind of just, you know, they're not even coming out in the front. They're all in the back here. Of course, I can definitely move the driftwood in the front so they can actually come out in the front more when you actually see them. But they actually like the shaded area in the back there along with the driftwood. So currently the zebras are looking pretty happy in this tank with the actual plant. This tank is running CO2, so this is actually the first time the zebra plecos had any introduction with CO2, and it seems like, you know, they're doing just fine. So with the zebras, I don't really have a good update on them because there's nothing really going on with them. We did try to do some breeding, but it seems like, you know, with this tank setup here, none of them are interested. I see like maybe one of them in a cave, but the other ones are always under these driftwoods. So I'm not even really remotely close to thinking that they'll breed anytime soon. So there's two things I want to give you guys an update on. I did get in a few new leopard frog plecos here. As you can see, the one in the back, I will kind of zoom into that one real quick. So this guy's a newer one. This little one up here, as you can see, it's a lot smaller than the guy up front over here. And the guy up front up here has way more cool pattern. As you can see, like the stripes aren't as even, they're broken. And the one in the back, as they're younger, I believe their bands are a lot straighter or a lot more smooth. And as they get older, kind of like that one up front and also like this one right here, the bands kind of break up. They look a lot more like a leopard pattern. But pretty much there was a local that was selling, you know, basically tearing down the tank and decided to sell some of the leopard frog plecos here. And I went ahead and just picked them up because it was such a good deal. And now I have a bunch more, and actually I was going to get a bunch more down the road. I wasn't planning to get any of them anytime soon, but you know, it just happened to fall in place, so I went ahead and picked some up. And as you can see, there's tons more up here along the heater and whatnot. So the ones that I picked up, that one on the left there is a smaller one, and the one on the right is the one I already had. As you can see, they have probably another inch or so to grow into adulthood, or you know, get a little bit bigger, so they have some time to actually grow. So there's a perfect here. Look at this. All of the leopard frog plecos are along this side here. Isn't that cool? That's pretty cool, right? All right, so this tank's a little bit of a mess because the pleco has been tearing up the substrate. If you remember on my last video, we had a bunch of stuff here just covered with plants, and of course the pleco's kind of dug up, and it's not really the little one. It's really my phantom, I believe. My phantom pleco. I do have him in here as well, just to kind of help control with the algae, because these other plecos in here do not eat any of the algae. They'll kind of munch on it once in a while, but they don't do any algae eating, so I needed some sort of algae control. So the phantom pleco is actually inside that cave right now, and the leopard frog is just kind of chilling out in the entrance here, so he's probably gonna get whacked in the face by the tail if he tries to get in a little bit further. Alright, so the other thing I want to do today in this tank is actually to clean up some of the stems. Obviously the stems are going to kind of get moved up and about with the pleco, especially the big one in here, so I'm not really going to plant some of these stems. A lot of them are going to float, which is fine. But I do have a bunch of stems in the sump that I need to pick up and move because it's kind of consuming a lot of sunlight, and I'll show you in a second here what I mean by that. Alright guys, so I switched to freestyle hand mode right now. So what I need to do is I need to pick up some of these, pretty much these plants here, these brews right here, they're kind of just floating. That one there, and maybe even the crib. And actually plant them and set them up correctly, because the pleco just keeps, you know, kicking up a bunch of these stems. And all of these stems are okay to kind of just float and whatever. But what I wanted to show you guys is my sump down here. All the stem is just kind of blocking a lot of the smaller plants, as you can this plant here, all of the sunlight, and we can't, you know, have that. So I want to basically pick up all the stems here, dump it up here. It can float, you know, whatever. I don't really, it doesn't really matter to me. Pick up a lot of these other ones that are kind of, you know, that needs kind of a little bit more light, and put them down here so they can kind of just free float a little bit, and they'll have, you know, their little, you know, light without having to be blocked by a bunch of these stems here. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so I moved up all the stem plants in the sump area. We do have a couple stems just kind of hanging out in this area here. This is pretty cool. I always do this with a lot of my sump for freshwater anyways. I kind of like that. Kind of blocks that little area. It makes it look a little bit nicer, but everything's cleared out. We have the Bruces, the swords, and a couple of the Java ferns there kind of just chilling in here. I do have a couple more up there that I need to pick up, but I went ahead and moved what I could down here, so it looks a lot cleaner. And actually, you know, a lot of these plants actually has all the light penetration it needs. I went ahead and adjusted the light there again to make sure that every plant is getting everything it needs, so that looks good. Moving up top, a lot more plants are now blocking the light, which is okay. I'm hoping that maybe with all these plants that are kind of floating, some of the Plecos will actually come out in the front more, because it's shaded more in the front versus the back there. The back is a lot more light now, as you can see. So we'll see what happens here, if the Plecos decide to come up or not. We'll do need to pick up some of the Java ferns back here that are kind of just floating. I'll probably do that once I put the camera down here and kind of clean that up a little bit. So yeah, everything looks good so far. I'm hoping that the Plecos like this new little setup here a little bit better. And actually the back does have a little bit more light, so they're actually jumping around there, kind of just figuring out what the heck's going on. Alright guys, so that is the quick update on the zebra Plecos plus the leopard frog Plecos. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's update. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you guys are subscribed. And like always, until next time guys, peace.